friends, it's Megan from A Seasonal Abode. So we started designing the garden about 2 weeks ago. We got a lot of rain, it got busy here, and it kind of was put on hold. Today we're kind of just going to be doing a whole lot of things. We're going to be finishing edging the bed, and then we're going to be planting all the plants that I have gathered so far. I'll be talking about the plants as we go along, and then we're going to top off the beds with some mulch. So if this interests you, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Now let's get to the garden. I'm just kind of showing you here my process for the no-dig bed. So I edge the grass, but then as you can see here, I'm not going to be digging that out. I'm going to be covering that with cardboard and then layering some compost on top and then mulch on top of that. So that's an easy way to add a new garden. You do still need to create an edge, and I'm going to share with you quickly the edger that I use. I really like it. So this is the gardening tool that I love so much. It's from NRG, Radius Garden. It's a pro edger. I actually picked this up at Lee Valley. I have been super happy with it. I think I've had it for like 3 years. It's really dirty right now. But it makes a nice clean cut, and I'm very impressed with it. That I'm adding into this garden design is the cat's pajamas Nepeta. So this plant is already blooming, as you can see. It's got these beautiful spiky purpley blue interests. The foliage is a gray green. I'm going to be adding this into along the border of my garden. I actually am going to be doing a trio of 3 on each side. And so the cat's pajamas Nepeta is a proven winner's variety. It gets about 40 to 50 centimeters in height and about 40 to 60 centimeters wide. I'm looking forward to having this in the border here. It's going to be giving me some great summer interest. It's already blooming now in May here in Zone 6, and it's probably a little bit early because I picked it up from the nursery. However, I'm anticipating it to bloom till sometime in July, in which time I will have to cut it back, and it will give me a second flowering later in the summer. So that is the third plant. The next plant that I have is a stone crop or a sedum. So this is another proven winner's variety. It is the lemonjade sedum. It's like all the other sedums. It is very low maintenance. It's hardy down to zone 3, and it does not require a lot of anything. No fertilizer, just likes to be left alone. So this is going to be giving me more of a greeny, chartreusey color in this garden design here. So I'm going to be planting that beside and behind the cat's pajamas Nepeta. It is great in the full sun. It also does well in shade, part shade, whatever. This is a very low maintenance plant. So the next plant that I am planting in this garden design here is the Millennium Allium. So this has got a little bit of a different kind of foliage to it than the sedum and the Nepeta. That's kind of what I'm looking for when I'm designing a garden. I'm looking at the different textures and the different variations of green, as well as the colors of the foliage. So this plant is another proven winner's variety, and it gets 40 centimeters tall by 30 centimeters wide. This is going to get some beautiful, I'm going to pull up a picture and put it on the screen. It's going to get these beautiful ball-like flowers in the summer. It is a perennial. It blooms later than the alliums that you would be planting in your garden for spring interest. So I almost forgot a plant. So this plant here is the Helen Von Stein Lambs. So it has a unique foliage to it. It's kind of silvery gray, and it's very fuzzy. The leaf is very soft. So this plant is not going to get any flowers on it, but it's going to provide some great texture and some unique interest to the garden. It is hardy to zone 4, and it's going to get about 20 to 25 centimeters tall and 50 to 60 centimeters wide. So I think that's going to pop out really nice in front of the emerald green cedar here and beside the climbing rose. So the last plant that I'm adding into my garden design for now is the Generous Gardener, which is a climbing rose from David Austin. It gets 3 meters in height. It's a repeat flower, and as you can see here, it's got like a kind of like a blushy pinky. It actually kind of reminds me a little bit of a peony here. I'm super excited about this rose here. I have a few other David Austin roses and they are just so beautiful. So that is the last plant that I'm adding to the garden design. So let's get to planting. So I'm just laying this out prior to digging the plants so that you can see the layout that I'm going for here. So we have the climbing rose. This is the New Dawn climbing rose here. And then in front of that, I'm going to plant a trio of the cat's Pajamas Nepeta. And then behind that, the Lamb's Ear Helen Von Stein. We already planted the emerald green cedars together. And then we're going to pop in the Jade Sedum here. And lastly, the Millennium Allium, followed by our hedge of the Little Lime Punch hydrangeas. If I think I want some more color in front here, I'm just going to pop in some annuals that I pick up at the nursery for this coming year. But that is it for the perennial plantings for this garden. So this is exciting. We have both sides planted. So here's our drift of the cat's Pajamas Nepeta with the Helen Von Stein behind it, the sedum, and then the Millennium Allium. I'm going to water these in real well, and then I'm going to top off this garden with some mulch, and then I'll give you a final review. I'm super excited about this. Can't wait.